I'm going to pull the whole thing down. I'm going to bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's going to be biblical.
G'day. Now, I, at present, am on my lonesome. Good morning, Pat, Starling fam, Larry. Elisa's mother-in-law passed away in the night, so Elisa can't make it today. Although she might try and sign in, excuse me, remotely. So it's just me, basically. So if no one comes to join me, I'm going to play some videos. I think I am quite used to waffling on to myself, and have been for years since Elisa came. Who's this? Oh, Misty's here. That's wonderful. She's just connecting her devices, I think. That's the wrong view. I don't want that. That's the one. Hello, Misty. Are you there?
Good morning, or for you, good evening, Stu.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. Your camera's not on.
Okay. Let's see.
I'm just going to blow my nose.
Okay, here we are.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm sorry to hear about Elisa's loss, but I'll be your wing girl today.
You could be my wing girl. No problem at all. So, yeah, I don't know who else is joining. I think there might be a few people, but we'll just have to wait and see. So, how have you been?
Oh, I'm doing great. There's just so much going on. I can't keep up. I haven't been able to even keep up with your podcast as much as I like to. But the one you had the other day with Juan and Sheila, I just thought it was just fascinating. Yeah, I learned so much. And this was probably the only time that I've listened to Juan that when Elisa asked the very pinpointed question, that he got to the fruition and the data point that we needed.
Yeah, it's Juan is very gentle and soft, and you know, he well, you can ask him a question and he can go all around the houses answering it, you know, but he does generally answer it in the end. But whenever I listen to Juan normally, I've always got it on 1.5 speed. Right. But in fact, I pretty much listen to everything on 1.5 speed now, depending on who I'm listening to. Sometimes it's 2 times speed if they talk really slow. But yeah, you know, it's it's different when you're listening live and you ask the question and stuff. But anything I'm watching normally, yeah, I speed it up.
Well, with Sheila, I have to go back because she said so much, and I like to take notes. And I mean, from Juan was slow. You know, his cadence in his speech is much slower, and hers is really fast. But everything she says, you want to hold on to every sentence. So that's why I said I need to go back and take notes.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, we're having some really good guests on, and I'm quite surprised because we were getting absolutely no traction at all on YouTube, and it's just really hit off lately. I mean, we've got our followers are catching up with our Rumble channel now. I'm nearly at 1,000 on our Rumble channel, but YouTube's at 700, and yeah, so it's like we'd love everyone to come over to Rumble, but we're going to start. And I was talking to Lisa yesterday. I might even do a little minute or two video just to put on YouTube, telling everyone what's coming up in the week, because I normally do that coming up this week post and put it on all the channels. But if we're getting a lot of views on YouTube as well now, I want to start, you know, giving them a bit of more information so everyone knows what's going on.
Well, that's great. Well, one of the things that I think you do really well, Stu, is the way you can slice and dice other videos and incorporate that into the show with not a lot of lag time. You do that really well. And for me, what I like about it is by doing that, it's like, I know I've already seen that, or, oh, I need to look into that more because I haven't seen that before.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, StreamYard is, I'm going to say, excellent for that. I've had a few people moaning about StreamYard lately on some of the podcasts I watch. But I used to use Zoom and OBS, but StreamYard is excellent. And if you get on the sort of like paid version, which I'm on, the cheapest paid version, although that's still £33 a month, something like that, I can store like 100 videos. Little short, well, anything up to 10 minutes really. So as soon as I click them, they come straight on the screen and go off. But anything else, I couldn't do this if I didn't have two monitors, right? But normally, if we got a guest coming on, I've got everything ready for that guest anyway. So once my screen is shared like that, I can just press a button, up it comes, and then take it off, and it goes like that. So it's, yeah, StreamYard's excellent. Why are you thinking of starting your own podcast, Mister? You're just going to try to get a few tips, are you?
Actually, I am just delighted just to be on yours, you know, on your Saturdays. I'm involved. I do a lot of volunteer work, and I have a small horse farm. So I have my hands full, and then, you know, traveling to see family and those types of things. So I'm just happy with what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, fair play. No, it's lovely to see you come on. So obviously you said there's so much happening. Yeah, there is. It's like I get out of bed every morning and go, what the fuck's happened now? You know? And so the stories of the week, obviously we've been talking about Iran a lot, and there's so much information coming out on Telegram and General Flynn and all these other people and Burning Bright digging into it, etc., etc. So, I mean, what's your... Oh, Elisa's going to jump on, I think. That's good. Okay. She's probably remotely from the car or somewhere. Yeah. What's your thoughts on Iran? Did we talk about this a couple of weeks ago?
Well, we've been, you know, it has been in our conversation. I wish it would go quicker. I don't see that we're going into the war that the normies think we're going into. I think it's very strategic. I have, of course, concerns what might happen here, you know, domestically. But I don't have a real lot of concern about it. Of course, the liberation of Cuba. Hey, Elisa.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, we're doing all right. How are you?
Hanging in there. It could be a tough couple of days. How are you guys doing?
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Nice.
How long have we got you for?
Maybe like 5-10 minutes.
All right. Well, you just, yeah. So,
Okay.
you know,
I don't want to interrupt where you guys were.
No. So we can go to that if you're only here for a short period of time. That's absolutely fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about Iran, but that can wait. So yeah, sorry for your loss. How is George?
Thank you. He's okay. He doesn't express his emotions. So we'll see. You know, usually the wake and the funerals when everything hits, right?
Yeah. Do you know you haven't got a date for that or anything yet? No.
Oh, probably Monday, Tuesday.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know, she really didn't suffer much. You know, she had some trouble breathing, but, you know, everybody was there. We weren't there, unfortunately, because we had been there the night before. But, you know, she had a lot of family around her. So the circle of life, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's well, you have been sort of expecting this for a while now, haven't you? So did she pass
Yeah.
away in her sleep? Was it in her sleep?
No, it wasn't in her sleep from what I understand. But they had her very medicated. So I think, you know, she was sort of like in and out, so to speak, I guess transitioning. But we were expecting it. It's just that our standards as awakened people have just increased so much. So everyone's like, oh, you know, she was 87. And then in my mind, I'm like, she was only 87 because we know we're supposed to live for hundreds of years. And you know, all this medication. I mean, I was there the other night and it was just like, oh, we're here with your evening medicate, just pills. And, you know, it's just such a terrible system. So
Yeah.
make a difference for ourselves and our children and future generations.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh well, don't really know what to say. It's it's nice of you to jump on from the car and stuff.
Yeah, he had to go into the store quickly. So
What
we're
for
just
cigarettes?
no. He manages the pharmacy. Right here we are going off on
Okay.
pharmacies, and I'm with a pharmacist who doesn't take anything. But yeah, he had to open the store, and then we're gonna head to Queens. We'll go to his sister's house and see what all the details are. She's extremely like independent and likes to take over, so she told us she didn't need help, but we're gonna go there anyway.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
good. All right.
So what's going on in your world, Misty?
Oh, I was just saying, I'm trying to catch up on the different podcasts that you all have been doing. I have to go back and listen to the Sheila and Juan one. Sheila, she has such good stuff, but she talks so fast. And then Juan, you know, we were talking about his cadence, but that was a fantastic podcast. And what I liked about it most is when you asked Juan very pinpointed questions, and when he gave the answer, to me, it gave us all validation that we're holding the line and we're getting there. And it felt good.
Good. Yeah, he was you know, for me, I felt like, and I hope other people felt this way. I know we've all heard about everything like satanic, but I just thought for anybody that was new, or for any of us that might have had some holes in the story, so to speak, of their belief system and where it originates from, I thought that was really helpful, because the thing that stood out to me most about everything he said is it doesn't matter if it's true, it's what they believe. So we have to
Right.
deal with it at that level, that's what they believe and that's what they do and that's why. So I felt like there was some hope. Did you feel that way? You know, like that things are where they should be in a positive way?
Yes, I with all my heart, I did. It
Yeah.
just, as I said, it gave me a good feeling, and uh, just so much of what Sheila was saying and so forth. It was the right podcast at the right time for me. I mean, not that I
Good.
was throwing my hands up or anything, but like everybody else, I get frustrated because, as we know, when you know what you want everybody else to know it, so we can just start moving on into this new world that's going to be so fantastic.
Yeah.
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 I'm comfy, yeah. I have been for years. You know, I probably had 2 or 3 little dips and going, oh, why's that happened? And then I taught myself, don't have those dips. 48, 72 hours, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I wanted to ask you, Stu? Right now, like there's a lot of like news about Pam Bondi, and he's taken a lot of heat. Like, what's your read on everything? Where do you think that's going to go? And you know, I mean, listen, if she's on the side of good, these people are taking serious slings and arrows, you know, just like the abuse that they are taking to play out things in time. But like, what's your read on that?
Well, I think Pam Bondi's on the right side. I don't think, even though Trump keeps his friends close and enemies closer, what I've seen Pam Bondi do, especially when we hear about that Epstein file drop came out and they gave everyone laptops and it was like sting operation, thank you very much. And then the performance she did, what was it, in the Senate, wasn't she? She was being grilled and she absolutely attacked verbally back at them. I thought, yeah, what a legend. You know, it could be wrong. We could be wrong about a lot of people. You know,
I kind of have the same feeling.
I'm not going to say we could be wrong about Trump because I think Trump is the only one people want to listen to. But I think there's more than one Trump, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look at it logically, like let's use common sense, which a lot of people don't. And especially that we're going through some like difficult times, people are extra scared, so they're going to use less common sense. But this, you know, he's getting, now look, we don't know if he's being med bedded, right? We can only assume he probably is. I heard a rumor, and I wish I could remember who said it. I don't know if it was Simon Parks. This was like 4 years ago. Maybe it was Charlie, one of those guys, like from back in the day where, you know, that was sort of the main focus of where a lot of us truthers went. But someone said that Trump said he was never going to change his look because that's what the people were used to. So he was going to, I guess, whatever they're doing to him, because I can't imagine that they're not treating him to be around for a really long time. But he looks older, you know, so if you use common sense, you got to say, how is this guy doing what he's doing at whatever he is, 78, whatever he is? And common sense would, you know, have you say, how could this be one person? I mean, he doesn't sleep.
No, he doesn't.
I'm just looking for an article that was just posted recently, funnily enough.
Plus, you know how you could tell too? I mean, his hair was always a hot mess. You know what I mean? Like it didn't quite part and it was sort of falling all over and it was like messy. And that was his trademark. And some of these Trumps we see, it's a very linear part and the hair is just so like, you know, molded.
Yeah, I mean, there was talk of sort of like gods and second comings and what else was I going to say then? It's completely time travel, obviously. And being King Cyrus, and you know, you're talking about what's his name, General's son.
General's son.
Who's the general?
Patton? General Patton, George Patton.
You know, it's maybe we're all meant to be growing our hair like that. You know what I mean? Maybe we're all meant to be having a big quiffy going over the top. But funnily enough, there's an article that was from. Can you see your screen, Elisa?
Yes, I do.
Right. Okay. New York Post yesterday. Is President Trump a time traveler?
Yes,
Holy
I saw
crap.
that. Yes.
Yeah. So, New York Post has a story about Donald Trump being a time traveler, and the story art featured one of the Ingersoll Lockwood books and a painting by Charles Dale, and the date on it just happens to be April the 10th, 1920, or 4/10/20 DJT, which was in a couple of drops, wasn't it? Just as written in Q drop 40. I think there's a couple more images to that. Yeah, you missed the best one, 4/10/20 DJT.
Wow. I mean, that's crazy. That's in the Post.
quiet. Sorry, go on.
No, I said that's crazy that that's actually in a New York paper.
Yeah, well, I know.
I was trying to catch up a little this morning, but I've been a little off the grid, so I have to catch up on your page and my page and see what's going on. But I wonder, that has to just be a message for us, right? Because anybody else is going to say this is ridiculous.
What is your perfect scenario for the end game in this? You know, it says in the Q drops, doesn't it? You will love how this movie ends.
Okay.
What is that for you? I know what it is for me.
So I think it's a little multifaceted. I don't think it's just one thing, but I think what it is that what are the two worst things for people? The two worst things are struggling financially and not being able to pay bills and not being able to do what they want and always being in a state of want. Like, I want to do this and I want to have that and I want to do this for, myself, my kids. So I think it has something maybe to do with finances. I don't think they're going to fork over, $2 billion to every person, but I think it could be fairly significant in the way of a bunch of things happening, like, income tax going away and maybe return of some interest or something like that, something that would make a difference. And then I think health. And I think there would be some kind of announcement about how we will never have cancer again, even though we know there's so many cures and this what we have to do, but the average person doesn't, and they're still living in that listen, I was going into the hospital, not to digress, going into the city to go to the hospital, and as we're driving, I'm like, what is going to happen to this place? It's Memorial Sloan Kettering, one of the biggest cancer centers in New York. Well, you don't have cancer. How many people work there? How much money do they make? Right? So
Right.
I would say end game would be, we are never going to be sick. Like, we're not going to be sick again. To me, that would be the most amazing ending. I mean, do people care about war? Yeah, they do. Do people care about having peace? Yeah, but it doesn't affect their life. Like, unless you have a person in the military or you've served, the average person isn't affected. In their heart, they probably want that. But I think the end game is something to do with a big boost to every single person in this country with finances and an announcement that we will have, like, any of these chronic diseases, particularly the C, is no longer.
Yeah, that's a great answer, Misty. I was thinking of something.
I love that. I love that question because, so many scenarios over this movement of years have changed, because based on what we know and so forth. But if I could wave a magic wand, the first thing that would happen would be that we would see elite arrested, and then the charges would be so severe that people would be cheering in the streets that they've been, arrested. And then where it would come out that because the corrupt court system in this country is so corrupt, that JAG would be stepping in and they would start trials, at Gitmo or whatever. And then while that's happening, we also have, a scare that would be financially, where people can't get their money or what have you, but it's not like 10 days or 2 weeks. It's just quick. And then we have a new system announced, and that the fear is taken away. And then it's explained, well, this is going away. And we were able to, get back what was stolen, and or whatever it is. And that there's some kind of financial relief for people across the country. Because to Elisa's point, when people, all they think about is working and paying their bills, it's hard for them not to encompass that fear mode. And lastly, I would say, the med beds for the cures of XYZ, and that the medical industry is going to change. That would be a relief for a lot of sick people. And maybe part of those arrests would be the pharmaceutical companies and the seating in the chemtrails and that sort of thing. But what I would really like to be the cherry on top would be that JFK, we have an EBS and JFK Jr. and Diana come forward and they tell the audience why they had to go away. And I think you would win hearts and minds around the world instantly.
I love that. I love that.
You've just taken my answer and I'm pissed right off.
I mean, you would win hearts and minds around the world. And then you'd have other people start coming out after them, like, Michael Jackson, Elvis, who's, Pastor Bob Joyce in Arkansas.
Allegedly. Yeah. It's Q drop here, 4095. Stay with me, deplorables. You'll love how this movie ends. Sign Q plus, which we believe to be Trump.
Right.
I was even thinking about that. Maybe Trump is Q and Q plus if there's more than one Trump.
Sure. At this point, anything's possible. And for me, I want to know what I don't know. And I've just learned in this journey is be open, be very open and receptive to things that might shock you.
Yeah.
100%.
Now, that is obviously, I want the EBS to go off. We want to see these first arrests. I think it will be, I still don't think we've had the massive arrest yet, but it will be a double whammy. It'll be two people because of those two drops, 3716, 3717 at the same time. But the EBS going off would be amazing. And like you say, JFK Jr. walking out and basically saying to the world, and it won't be a video either. People will be going, that's AI.
Right.
He'll have to walk out into the White House press room with Trump and Diana, maybe at the same time.
Yeah. And
say, this is what we've done. Because as soon as that happens as well, that's not just a wake up tablet. That's complete and utter validation of the whole Q operation, what we've all been talking about. And, I know it says in the Q drops because they had a Q&A, didn't they? Q, is the earth flat? No. Mm-hmm. I think, is JFK Jr. alive? No. But if JFK Jr. is no longer Jr. because JFK was taken out, or was he? He would be JFK, wouldn't he?
Right,
and,
right.
I believe, from what I've seen, 100% and 17% that he's alive.
Yeah, me too.
And so even to the question, even with that question, is the Earth flat? No, it may be. There's so many answers to that too. It's a different shape than, you know what I mean. It's not flat, so.
Right.
There's a lot of interpretations, right, Stu, as far as why when they say no, because that's a yes or no answer, but it's not explaining.
Yeah, all right, let me just move that chat into the tool section so I'm not hiding your face, Elisa. There we go. Okay. Lovely. Hello, Simone.
Hello, sorry, I had two thingies open then.
That's all right. Yeah, no worries. We're just talking about, have you heard what we've been talking about?
I've got the last few minutes, and I'm guessing something happened, Elisa. Why are you in your car?
Oh, because George's mom passed away last night. So we're going to be heading to Queens to his family and getting
sorry.
all that. Thank
Condolences to you and George.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
So what would be? Thank you. So what would be your end game to how this movie ends, Simone?
Hang on, Simone. Let me just show you this
My end game. God.
We're just talking
straight in the deep end then.
Yeah, we're just talking about this. Drop 4095. Stay with me, deplorables. You'll love how this movie ends. So, what is your sort of dream scenario?
Oh God. I would love to believe in an EBS, but my left brain jumps in all the time and says, yeah, but time zones. Yeah, but some people don't have televisions. Some people, you know, because I do think we live in an echo chamber, us lot, you know, and we think everybody, you know, once they realise what's going on. And I have a lot of little reality checks every now and again. For example, I was in the hairdressers the other day. Thanks for noticing. I've had my hair done, by the way, guys.
Very nice. You're adorable.
And my hairdresser, bless her, she was lovely. She did a great job. But I mentioned Keir Starmer, and she said, "Which one is that? Is he the mayor?" And I was just like, there is actually zero point in continuing the conversation with her. Let's just talk about the weather. You know, and she literally did the, you know, the things that hairdressers do, and they ask you if you're going on your holidays. And this is how the conversation started, actually. I said, well, I'm really hoping to go to New York in April. And she said, oh, right, what's happening in New York? And it's like, right, how do I said, oh, well, I want to go to like a conference, a summit. And she went, what's that then? And I said, well, it's people speaking, people that I want to hear speak over a weekend. And she's, oh, what are they speaking about? I was like, oh my God, where do you start? I mean, bless her, you know, I'm not judging or anything, you know, each to their own and everything. And I did try to explain that there's certain people talking about truths about our sort of our true history and stuff like that. And then I said something about the Epstein files, and she went, yeah, what is that? So it was a wake-up call for me, and it made me think, there are people in this world. I mean, this is 200 yards from my house, so it's all around me. I see no evidence of anybody waking up around me at all. If anything, they're going the opposite direction. It was a wake-up call for me to, you know, there's some people that are just never going to get it. And even if they're given all the information, they're still going to go, all right, do you want a cup of tea? Yeah. You know, it's over their heads. So I think that there's different kinds of people. And I'm not saying there's them and us. I think there's some people that are, if we want to go down the spiritual route, which I always end up going down, because it's the only explanation for me, is that some of us were sent here, our souls were sent here to help with this, you know, and some people weren't. So that's the only explanation I can tell myself. You know, but it was a wake-up call for me, but it's also disheartening, of course, when your hairdresser doesn't even know who the Prime Minister of the country is. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, and I have to sort of, I do get myself excited when things are happening, you know, and it's like, oh, we're getting close. And then I get grounded like that. And I had to sit there for 3 hours while she dyed my hair.
Yeah, well, this is one of the absolute bonuses of me cutting my hair for my own hair for the last 6 years. Is to endure 30 minutes of nothingness chat.
It's so hard. It's really hard, isn't it? So where are you going on your holidays? And I literally laughed in her face, and I said, I can't believe you asked me that. That is such a hairdresser cliche.
Yeah. Garbage, isn't it? So, Simone, I mean, I know you talked about the EBS. Do you see any other big sort of movie ending?
I think it's all already happened.
Yeah,
we say that, and that's one of our cliches, and it's all just optic.
All right, how do you think they're going to reveal it to the public? Is sort of what we're getting at.
I don't think the whole sort of 2 weeks of documentaries thing is going to work for reasons I just mentioned. You know, not everybody sits down in front of their television, and you know. I do think though, but as soon as someone's telly goes off, it'll be like, get your telly on. If the phones are working,
put your telly on now, that will spread like absolute wildfire, especially if nothing else is working.
I also think people will look at it and go, "Oh, I'm not interested in that." I really do. I really do. Like most sort of people, they're more interested in the Kardashians and, you know, things like that. Because we do live in an echo chamber. We do. And I'm starting to realise that more and more. Whenever I venture out into the world, the real world out there, the matrix, if you like, it's just, you know, and I think a lot of people know in their DNA that certain factions in this world probably did try to kill everyone a few years ago, you know, or cause a lot of harm. I think they probably know that. And even if they only think, oh, the government lied to us, even if it's just that, they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care because they're still in this, oh, well, there's nothing we can do about it mindset, you know.
That's why I think they need to fucking crash the banks to get them excited.
Exactly. Hit them where it hurts. Hit them where,
Yeah.
especially the middle class twats that live across the road from me. They're not, you know, they're not gonna notice a thing until, you know, they can't fill up their Mini Cooper.
That's so true. You know,
Yeah.
this reminds me of a video. Stu, you save everything. I don't know if you remember this one. There's this woman who is really pissed off. She's just like an American woman, and she's talking about her life and how she can't do anything anymore because no matter what she does, there's another, like, she's like, I can't think about water because if I think about water, then I know that they've put fluoride in the water, so I have to worry about having my water treatment. I can't go to the store. Like, she goes through everything, how she's so angry that she's awake, and wouldn't it be great to just be oblivious to everything? And I think that's what we experience. Like, to me, even though the geopolitical, that's usually secondary when I'm talking to normies, my primary is always health. I guess because that's always been my thing throughout my life. And we were sitting at the hospital the other night, and I was like, I'm zipping my mouth. So I sat there quiet, and I'm listening to them, beautiful, educated professionals, okay? And they're like, one of the relatives was saying how he had kidney stones. He's like, yeah, you know, I think because like I visited wherever the hell he visited, some country for like, you know, and I was eating a lot of meat. And then the other relative was like, yeah, that's probably, you know, that's what it is. And so I'm there on my phone because I have nowhere to go. Like, I want to run out of there screaming. And I'm looking up like the real cause. Like, when I say real, I mean what we know. And I'm showing George, like I'm like, look at this. Don't know what they're talking about. And I guess it's sad because even though we want to sort of say like they just have no clue, there's a sheet, like there's a sheet over these people that they can't see beyond some of what they've been brainwashed with, right?
And do you also find when you say, because it's Mother's Day here tomorrow, my son's taking me out for a meal, right? So I'm saying that what you just said, just be quiet, Simone. Don't say anything that's going to trigger him, because he is the epitome of apathy. He knows that there's shit going on, but he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. He'll come in my house and fill up my zero jug with tap water. And so I kick off, and then he's, oh, you're fucking mental, just water, you know, and all that. Don't you put tap water in my zero jug, you know. So I will tell myself tomorrow, we're going to have a lovely meal. We're going to have a lovely meal, and we're just going to not talk about Trump. Don't mention the T word, for God's sake. We're not going to do any of that, right? But I don't have an off switch. If they bring tap water to my table, there's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
You won't be able to help yourself, will you?
Our souls
You'll
get
be
stuck.
going, oh, for God's sake, Mum, you're so embarrassing, for God's sake. You know.
How old is your son?
39.
Okay. You know what? I have a situation with George's son, who's 36, going to be 37, and Stu knows the story. And he had a friend who was really sick with brain cancer, and I mean, because I could be really obnoxious, I was so quiet. I was like a mouse. I was like, you know, you may want to recommend that maybe she try some of these things, this drug called ivermectin, because they're finding that cancer is probably a parasite. That's all I said. I was like, and they're having some really good results. He starts grilling me. He's like, does it work with brain cancer? And I was like, well, I think it's kind of like cancer. I can't answer that question. I said, but the thing is, the doctors don't really tell you because they have another way of so it's not approved. And he's like doing that. So I go from being a mouse to having to go to the ladies' room. Okay. Cause I'm like, I have to purge this, cause I'm going to knock this fucking kid in the head. So I go to the bathroom with my daughter, and she's like, Ma, why do you even bother? And I was like, you know what? I was like, what's sad is that this girl is going to die. Mark my words, another week or two, she's going to die. And
that's your soul coming up out of your mouth. You have no control over that. That's your soul in charge there going, no, this is wrong.
Yeah.
I've got this guy that I know in my area, and he works in a bike shop, and sometimes we have a coffee and, just friends. And he's very, very superficial. All he cares about is hats and holidays. That's what I call him, hats and holidays. He's got zero social conscience about anything, but he's a lovely guy, He's very concerned about what people think, hence the way he dresses and everything. And I've tried to have conversations with him and stuff like that about this, because he's got some reason he's got a shit ton of XRP, like a lot. He got an inheritance, and somebody somewhere told him to buy XRP, and that's how we started talking about XRP. Anyway, I was walking past his shop the other day, and he said he was going to California. He told me a few months ago he was going to California. And I walked past the shop, and he was in the shop. And I was like, oh, I'll go and say hello. I said, shouldn't you be in California? He's like, I'm not going to America. Why? Well, it's all going to be America, 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 isn't it, when they're bombing the shit out of everyone? And I went, it's not really, try not to see it as that. Try to see it as more of a liberation, because it's more of a liberation than a war. I said, and I explained about Venezuela, and, next is Cuba and Ecuador apparently as well. Have a look, just think about that. All these countries have been either living under some regime or some dictator, think about that he was literally parrot fashioning what he'd heard on the news. Well, I saw on Sky News, I said, oh, here we go. He's a narcissist. No, let me back up. First of all, he said, did you see that post he made about Starmer? It was the day that Trump had posted about, we don't need your 2 boats. Thanks, Starmer. It was that. Yeah. That's narcissistic. I said, yeah, but it's also true. It's true. You're a bit late to the party, Kia. And but and he just spurted it out. He said, he's a narcissistic, racist rapist. And I said, listen to yourself. Oh, what's that noise?
Sorry, that was me.
All right. I said, listen to yourself. That's the one. I said, you're just parrot fashioning what you've heard on the news. And I went again, I think my soul came out and just spoke for me, because I'm really not very good at speaking about this stuff. I sort of explained the situation to him. I said, don't you think if he was a rapist, the Dems would have found that evidence by now and had him locked up? Right. Don't you think if that evidence was there, they'd have found it and he'd have been locked up a long time ago? Have you ever questioned, since the day he came down that escalator and said he's running for office, have you not questioned why everybody's gone gunning for him? Do you not think for yourself? Like, they've done everything they can in their power to stop this man. Have you never gone, why is that? Even at school, when everybody hated someone, I used to have to find out why. I think some people just don't have that gear in their brain. They just go, right, well, if Sky News, as we know, and then he listened to everything I said, and he went, oh, but that's told me then, hasn't it? And I've sent him a few things, but I've heard nothing. Not a thing. But I honestly do think some people are just, it's with him, I see it more as he needs to fit into his group of people. They probably all watch Sky News and they all sit in the pub a couple of times a week talking about how horrendous Trump is. If he was to speak up and say, well, actually, he'd be outcast from his little group of people, you know, and he couldn't bear that. That would be death to him because he's so concerned about what other people think, you know. So that was, it was afterwards, I just remember feeling so frustrated, and it's like, fucking hell, especially when they parrot fashion it, like the talking heads on the mainstream media, you know. It's like, listen to you, you're just literally repeating what you've heard on the news. Yeah,
they
but
don't even
Simone,
know what these words. Yeah, and they don't even know. Like, I remember years ago, probably like 2016, I was dealing with an attorney at the time through my divorce, and she said first of all, she's like, when my ex-husband had, you know, sent the sheriff over to take possession of my rifle, and I told her, like, how dare he? Like, he made up a story that I was waving it at him and all this kind of stuff. So she says, I think guns are terrible. Like, you're a fucking lawyer. That's my right, whether you like them or not. I have a Second Amendment right, and this guy is being an asshole, and you're representing me. Then we get on to how Trump was so wrong, and he's pro-gun, and you know, he's a malignant narcissist. Remember when that word was going around? He was a malignant narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, I ended up firing her, you know, because honestly, if someone's supposed to represent you and be in this ridiculous fucking bar system that we have and be your advocate, and they are so diametrically different than your belief system, then you can't work together. That's my opinion.
That's right.
You say, oh, keep politics out of it. It's not about politics. It's about what is my belief system and what is your belief system. And if there's too much disparity, then there's no way we can work. Same thing, unfortunately, I feel, maybe I'm being a bitch, but when people say that their spouse is completely the other side, I'm like, then what do you talk about? Like dinner?
Yeah.
Bills?
No, it's so difficult, isn't it? Because everything a normie talks about, you're immediately, you know, if they talk about the weather, which is what they usually start with, let's face it, you know, and it's like, oh God, where'd you start with that? I must say though, don't know about you, Stu, but I haven't seen any chemtrails in the sky for quite a few weeks. Have you? You're muted.
Sorry, yeah, I have. I think I'm going to have a quick look out now.
Nice fluffy clouds here.
Did you guys see, Simone, did you watch the video we did with Wano Saban and Sheila the other day? It was interesting, his explanation of the chemtrails, right?
I didn't watch it all.
Oh.
I've clicked that bit. I've got that if you want to watch it. It's about 9 minutes long.
I thought it was the first answer I heard that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what I have been doing though. I've been watching a lot of stuff. I watched Melania film. Has everybody seen that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't. I was supposed to watch it last night, but
yeah, Jason was streaming it, wasn't he? Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've also been watching and loving Love Story JFK Jr.
Oh yes, that's fantastic. Yes.
It's not only a good show, but oh my God, at the very least, they faked their own death for privacy.
Yes.
Oh, I got to
and they're
see it.
literally telling you that. The whole series is about how they got no privacy and they just want to be together. And he does not want to be president. He doesn't want to go down that path. So at the very least, they faked their death.
Yeah.
Good. I want to ask you about this because just before you came on, we were talking about our perfect scenario endings, EBS, but then we were talking about JFK Jr. coming out into the White House press room, potentially with Trump and Princess Diana, etc.
Well, I'm not a great one for all these sort of dead people still being alive and stuff, but I have to say the pilot is the spitting image of the age he would be now. Somebody did the profile. Yeah, you posted it, didn't you? I mean, that's the best I've ever seen. I'm quite skeptical about a lot of the stuff that comes up, but you know. But then again,
watch this. This is obviously. This is two actors playing Carolyn and JFK Jr. But it's this guy here who's the pilot. Yeah. Watch this. This is out of that.
It's him.
Yeah.
And how timely that this series is out now to get the public to start thinking about JFK Jr. and Carolyn.
I mean, look at that. That's just. But then my left brain jumps in and says, what about those actors and the crew? How do they keep them quiet? Because that's a big ask, isn't it? Don't mention that JFK Jr. is still alive, by the way. Can you sign this NDA? How does that work? Do you know what I mean?
Look, if you've got a 60,000 secret army and they're all military, it's a piece of piss.
That's right.
Yeah. And not only that, but
and plus as well, if
also
someone
think
starts running around, if someone starts running around going, JFK Jr.'s alive, people would go, you're a nutter. Like us saying 9/11 was an inside job.
Or maybe those actors weren't told anything and they just didn't recognise him. Who knows?
Yeah, I would have thought they'd know.
Central casting.
Yeah, that's you, Elisa, I think.
I'm going to go out and come back in.
Yeah, all right.
Turn it off, turn it on again.
Yeah. Let me just show you this video because I've got in my. Where's that? Hold up.
I'm absolutely loving that show, and I think she is fantastic. That actress that plays her. I think the guy is not as good looking as JFK Jr., but we'll forgive him for that. It's quite an ask, isn't it?
Yeah, it's this video I saw a long time ago. Now, this is Trump walking down the White House lawn to get into Marine One. 2 people follow him down the garden, and the press are saying, John, hold on, Alicia's just coming back in. Let's swap you around. You two, that's it. Oh, yeah, you got a bit of static, Elisa.
Yeah, I'm still having static. And actually, George just came out, so we're going to go. So
Exterminate. Sound like Dalek.
Okay, we'll see you guys later.
All right, take care, Elisa. We love you. Give our love to George.
Well, all right, bye.
See you. Bye. Go on then. Right, so this video, Trump's walking down the White House lawn, 2 people follow him down, and the press are saying, John. Listen to this.
Yeah, well, I'm not having that because there's a million Johns in the world.
Yeah, all right, a million Johns don't walk down and get on it Marine One with Trump, do they?
That just doesn't, the stature and everything doesn't feel right to me.
I think that's John and Caroline. You know, we've seen other photos, haven't we, of that figure sitting in the Marine One. I haven't got that to hand. And don't forget, of course, we have this one with, I can't remember her name. What was it? Was posting in the chat. Scratch your nose if JFK Jr. is alive. Scratch your nose if or touch your nose, right?
Bowie this is extraordinary on so many levels. The Deitch memo, and this memo, all of the documents that are not in the public domain, and the Deitch memo is one of those documents. It was a discovery document that was given to me by Mike Hugo.
Yeah.
So where do they go? Are they beyond the ice wall in Tartaria or something?
Witness protection.
Yeah, but they've still got to live their lives. What if they fall out of love and decide they don't want to be together anymore? All these things cross my mind, you know?
Well, yeah, but you still... Yeah, well, if you fall out of love...
If you signed up for a mission, you would have to uphold that mission.
Yeah, and I think if they're alive, they're on the greatest mission in the history of Earth, aren't they?
Right, exactly. And the way they portray Carolyn, she was extremely loyal. And I think she really, got to know what the family went through with the deaths and stuff. And that probably even made her more committed, even if she fell out of love. I just look at her being super committed. And him as well. I think he was committed since he was a little boy. It was a lifetime mission.
So do you think they've been living on an island, because there's probably loads of islands that are not on the map, right? And they've had kids and all sorts of stuff like that.
I would say a remote area. It didn't necessarily have to be an island. If you're living on a secret base, because there's a lot of them. I mean, you could live on that base, and if you travel and you're disguised with the mask, you could go into town and have a mask on, and nobody would know that who you were. I mean, there's so many sophisticated.
What would be the point of escaping? Let's just say, for argument's sake, that it's just for privacy, and so powers that be don't kill them, just to live in a prison.
I could answer that. As an American and a patriot, my dad was a 20-year naval man. I grew up around military, even to this day. Friends, that Navy, Army, Special Forces, SEALs, whatever. And I would tell you the commitment of people that are patriotic goes far beyond wanting to make sacrifices. And if you're part of the Q movement, of which they would be, you're just so committed, and you're helping to save the world and get justice and so forth. I think that purpose is larger than life, and that's why they're so committed. And knowing how American patriot people are, they will die, even if they're not like a warrior. My life could end tomorrow. If it meant saving my country or doing what's right for the children in the future, I would do whatever I had to do. And I'm 64 years old. And I know that there's a lot of other Americans like that as well. There would be patriots in your country that would do that. But when you're not exposed to that military type environment, patriot environment, you may not see that that's how deep that commitment goes.
I think one of the other questions I had was about his sister, who also died in the plane. Would she have given up her whole family and her life for the same reasons?
Maybe if she had, from what I could see from her mother, she had strong family values. And if it was, they were close, and, who knows how they made their decision. But I do think that there are people out in the world that will make commitments for the cause. And, we're part of that.
Yeah, I mean, you are assuming, of course, that they took themselves out to go and hide from society, whereas I don't think that at all. I believe that they took themselves out so they could run this operation from the shadows.
And that too, exactly. Again, on the mission and knowing what they could do. I mean, think about it. If God came up to you or someone and says, do you want to be part of a mission to save the world? There would be people that would say no, but there'd be other people and go, yeah, I will. They could see the forest through the trees. And especially if they're being recruited, they're going to know that it's either this way and you can't walk away. It's kind of like being in the mob. You can't walk away, and you may die on this mission.
Yeah, exactly. And, with the way society is at the moment as well, I think there's a lot of people out there would do that, because we've been so bemused with the rest of society about, what they've done to us for trying to speak the truth, that I think if we sort of went undercover, you wouldn't actually miss that many people that much, even though they're dear to our hearts. It's like you'd want to, what a way you know, to take yourself out for 20 years. And when was it? 99, wasn't it? His plane went down.
I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. 99, 97.
July 97 it was.
Yeah. So take yourself
same year
out.
as Diana.
Yeah. But there you go. If your plan,
I think, or was it 99? Someone in the chat's probably gonna
99, I think.
Yeah.
If you're going to take yourself out for 20, 30 years to save the human race, and if medbeds exist, you know you're going to live to 300. You know,
Right, exactly.
it's a piece of piss, and that's not going into the spiritual side of it. You know, these people know a lot more than us. You know, we talk about reincarnation and soul contracts and stuff. If all this stuff has been hidden from us in the archives at the Vatican and things, and they know all this stuff, that, you know, you can repair your cells, you can regenerate and all these things. You know?
Think about, like, even for ourselves and our own personal journeys, to the point of that key phrase, belief system. I know before all of this started that I didn't even know that I was going into a changing belief system, if you will. And on this journey, here we are today talking to each other, when 5 years ago, we didn't know each other. And it's this mission and movement that has brought us all together. And I think when we see all of us committed in different ways, you know, whether it's jumping on a podcast, you know, supporting a podcast, going to, you know, different gatherings, seminars, or what have you, there's commitment there and drive. And just think about all the Anons that want to join up online. I mean, it's a tribe, it's a movement. And when they say nothing can stop what's coming, and when General Flynn said, I have 60 million digital soldiers, I think it was, I mean, think about that. That's massive. That's massive. And then on the other side of that coin, if you have the people that are in charge of the mission and involved in the operation of the mission, to what you said, Stu, I mean, the strength of that is just enormous. It changes the history of the world.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of discussion in the Q drops, isn't there? It's going to be biblical, and God's hand is on this, and, you know, trust the plan and God's army. There was a comment I starred here. God said no one will miss what he is about to do. And I've heard so many people say that if we have some sort of major, well, you know, that's not talking about JFK Jr. coming out, but if we do have some sort of major event, it is going to make everyone pay attention in an instant, I believe.
What do you mean, a major God event?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about that.
Give me an example.
Well, I can't give you an example, can I? I am not
What, you mean Jesus is going to come down? Is that what you mean?
No, look, I mean, there was talk about a fake alien invasion, wasn't there? There was also talk about they were trying to do holograms of the a return of Jesus Christ and things. No, I think it will be, and I did say to people, if you see alien spacecraft appear in the sky, throw stones at them, you know, just to make sure they're not holograms. And I said, you know, I did actually say, and I apologised at the same time, I said, if they show an apparition of Jesus in the sky and you throw a stone at that and it is actually Jesus, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, right. But we've got to use our discernment and find these things out. But no, I think there will be an awakening. You know, there's a lot of talk about solar flashes, all these things. But there's going to be a knowing whether our DNA is going to refire, and we're going to all of a sudden just know things. You know, yeah. I think something very.
That's more of a metaphysical God, isn't it? So, you know, with our DNA upgrading and everything, it's more to do with the raising in the frequencies of the planet, and our DNA upgrading from what we didn't even know how many, but 2 up to 12, whatever. Don't know. Somebody might know more about this than me, but
The chakras.
No,
I just find it very difficult to get my head around all the Jesus is coming back stuff. I'm sorry, because it's, to me, it's a metaphor, because God is consciousness to me. You know.
Yeah,
So,
and that's kind of
this talk about.
That's
Jesus.
the way I look at it too, Simone, because I feel God is in us, and we've been told for so long that God is in heaven, and I believe God.
If you listen to
is in
Santos
us.
about the 33 vertebrae and all, he explains it beautifully.
Yeah,
It's you know, this whole, and I just think some people have got lost down that road, or maybe they probably think that about me as well. Each to their own, right? But I just cannot go there. It's
I don't think it's about become lost. It's also we have been manipulated, because I think we've got 12 strands of DNA and we were meant to have 20. This is what scientists have labelled junk DNA. And it's a fucking nonsense, isn't it? That whoever created us and the Christ consciousness that's rising, right? We would not be created with DNA in us that doesn't work. You know, so have we been suppressed down the past? We talk about the Anunnaki, all these things.
Think that's why this whole space gets really confusing, is because there's so many different narratives going on. You know, there's people that can talk so well and are really, really knowledgeable, and then they start going on about Jesus coming back, and it's like, what? For me, it is anyway. You know. But that's just me. I've always been more of a metaphysical kind of a person, and that narrative scenario makes much more sense because it's where science and spirituality meet.
Yeah.
Right. Well, when Sheila was talking the other day, and she talks a lot about how God talks to her and so forth. And in my own life, I can say I've had a knowing, but I could never turn around and go, well, I talked to God last night.
Exactly. I have knowings.
But again, that's their belief system. And, you know, as long as they're not trying to force their belief system on me, it's like, okay, that's what you believe. I believe something different.
Yeah, exactly. But especially over these last 6 years of using our discernment, I don't think any of us can rule out any scenario.
That's right. That's true.
I was an atheist 7 years ago. You wouldn't have heard me. You wouldn't have heard the word God come out of my mouth unless I was going, oh, for God's sake. You know. But I do believe in God, but I don't believe it is a he. So when I hear people talking about God and saying he,
that almost makes me chuckle.
It's energy, it's consciousness. It's not a man with a head and two arms
sitting on a cloud with a white beard.
Yeah,
it just does wind me up when I hear this shit, you know.
But, I understand that. Right, let's go back to a bit of JFK, because I just found this. This is a video from Nancy Drew that was
holy shiznit. I'm pretty sure something did just break, not ready, but I think something major just freaking happened, and I'm gonna keep my mouth just closed right now. But it
see, that was interesting. What it was saying there was hold traffic on the avenue, Trump and Kennedy are leaving. Now, this was long before RFK Jr. got involved with Trump publicly. So I wouldn't have thought they'd announced that, but that's something else we saw.
There's Senator John Kennedy as well, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure he'd...
Is he a Kennedy, or is that just a coincidence? Is he from the Kennedy family?
No,
I don't think he is. I think he just has a Kennedy last name. I've never heard there's lineage.
Yeah. So it's interesting. And I mean, this photo here as well that I had up just now. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yes, I remember seeing that.
And it's funny how the mask is placed, because the mask is either pulled down or put up so you can't see the eyes through it. You know, that mask is, I think it's You might be able to see that eye slightly there, actually. Or the eyes might be, he might have these eyes closed. But these are all little winks and nods, aren't they?
Yeah. Breadcrumbs.
Yeah. You know, him touching his nose, because he actually did that twice as well. He was doing another interview with JP.
While having peace inside. And I don't know the answer to that, but I keep asking myself the question.
Let me ask you this, and this is, this is kind of the beginning of the interview, but you spent a lot of time kind of making fun of the various.
Yeah, and he was smiling there, wasn't he? RFK going like that. I wouldn't put my house on it, but I'd have a very big bet that he is Q.
Oh yes, I would too. It just, you can with all the different things that we have learned and can reference over the last 5 years or so, you connect the dots. And I mean, if you're going to disappear, you have to have the means through resources, contacts, whatever. And they would have had that. And they would have had to have friends in high places. So for them to disappear and come back at a later time, I really hope we see it, because again, I think that would wake people up. And can you imagine the EBS and, then people are paying attention and the documentaries, 8 hours for 24 hours a day or whatever, if people aren't told they need to watch them or have a reason to watch them, you're right, they would just ignore it. They don't know what's going on. They don't even know that. I mean, sometimes the interviews that I see Jesse Waters do on the street with Americans and ask them, about our country, it is so embarrassing. But unfortunately, that's the rule, not the exception.
Yeah. Have you watched any of the stuff Matrix Codebreaker has been doing?
I do from time to time. I would say I probably watch one of his every couple weeks, because they're so long. It's hard to be able to have that, listening to that or be in front of a screen that long for me. Yeah,
I normally, I know these shows are long and all that. He's quite funny because he's a stoner as well, isn't it? And he says, today's show, he says, I'm going to double drop a couple of those gummies on the 3-hour mark, and then we're going to see where it takes us. It's quite interesting. But I normally watch him when he comes onto Rambo or these other shows, because he's straight in there. He does his little decos. And I did
same here.
A watch party once of him doing that monstrosity dig, which is, it is just amazing.
Now, Stu, do you ever watch when the Scott McKay has Jaco, Josh Reed, and Alpha Warrior once a week? That is such a great podcast. And Josh Reed, man, he just has it nailed.
Yeah, it's one of the, every morning I watch, because it's over there in the evening, so it's like too late for me. It's about 1-2 o'clock in the morning here, so it's always there ready for me. So I watch Part B, the geopolitical X22 on 1.5 speed, while I go through my Telegram, and then 4 days a week I think I watch Josh Reed's Daily Dose straight after that, and that what starts me off. And then all these other things that the Rambo shows and Nino and whoever else is on, really, I put them into my saved messages and crack those out through the day. But yeah, Josh Reed is one of my absolute favourites. We have been in contact. We're trying to get him on the show.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
And I know that will be one of the shows where I probably say the least I've ever said, apart from asking Josh a couple of questions, because the way and I think it's actually pinned to his Rumble channel, the way he describes how this operation has unfolded from about 2010, something like that, right up through the Q drops and then he talks about what's going on now, is amazing, because he's ex-Navy as well, isn't he, Josh? Very intelligent man.
Yes. Yeah, he knows what he's talking about, and I believe it was naval intelligence.
Yeah.
So he knows how to work. That's why I like listening to them, because if you listen to people that have been in the military, a lot of, if you're a civilian, you think, well, that would never go on. And there's so much that goes on. They're not just like, marching around like soldiers, not doing anything, especially if they've been on missions. They know what they're talking about. Now, Simone, what podcasts do you follow?
My main staples, well, since finding Stu a few months ago, is Truth Stream. I went through the whole. See, the geopolitical stuff came later with me. I started with the more sort of esoteric stuff and sort of Mark Atwood's Truth Stream. SG and On, I've been listening to him since the beginning. Who else? Journey to Truth. Has anybody watched Journey to Truth podcast? They're amazing, these guys.
What's that again? Journey to Truth. Journey to Truth podcast. It's Tyler and Aaron, two young guys who they just go down all the sort of rabbit holes. They cover a lot of the geopolitical stuff as well. Q. They have like whole podcasts dedicated to Q. But those two, Truth Stream and Journey to Truth. To be honest, I get a bit fatigued with the geopolitical stuff, and I find it puts me in a negative headspace because it's so convoluted and it's so, and it's like, God, I just want to go and walk the dog in nature. It's just, I know some people are more made, like Stu's brilliant for that. He loves it. But for me, it just gets too much sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I make sure I get out of the house every day. I mean, over the winter months, I've been going to the gym, but now the weather's nice. Been out on my bike today. I only did 25k, but I was out in nature. It's beautiful. I love it out there. And that, and in lockdown, I was out for 4, 5, 6 hours every day. There was not a chemtrail in the sky. It was beautiful weather. And it just invigorates me and refires me to come back and see what's going on. I'm constantly busy doing these things, getting all the thumbnails, putting all these what's coming up, and Elisa and I do quite a bit offline as well, talking to people and phone calls and stuff. Yeah, I love it.
Sometimes I just need a couple of days and I'll turn my phone off, and I won't put you, because YouTube algorithms and everything, you're just bombarded with news and war and and I'll just have a couple of days of doing nothing. I'll clean the house from top to bottom or something like that. I'll just do something completely different just to give my brain a rest from it all, and then I'll jump back in Stu's Telegram to find out what's going on.
Yeah, and you do. Each one of us have to find our own balance. I know it's for me because every day I have to take care of the horses, and I'm out here in the valley, and I got the mountains. And that helps a lot. Then plus my artwork that I do, but I'm probably watching podcasts or listening to them a minimum of 2 hours a day, probably more like 4 or 5, because I do some in the morning and some in the evening. But I do schedule the ones that will be uplifting in the evening, because I don't want to go to bed with negativity. And when I find something getting too negative, I'll just switch it off and redirect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch anything negative. I currently follow 210 different Rumble channels, right? So there's a lot of uploading there. And I mean, I absolutely loved it. When I heard that Jason Q was going on with Josh, I thought, yes, here we go. That's brilliant. They did a few shows together, and they're not doing it anymore. Josh Reed is now, because I always knew Jason and Josh would have this flat Earth, globe Earth debate. You never convinced me on that, Jason. It's hilarious. But Josh does 2 shows a week with Alpha, doesn't he? DEFCON 0 and Q After Hours, or Abs and Stormy. We've got the Rambo guys. I watch a bit of Nino, but I can there's only little bits of that I need to watch, you know, and I've just honed it. There's so many people that I used to watch that I've seen blackpilling and turning on Trump and turning on this movement and the Q operation, that as soon as that happens, I sort of discard them.
Yeah, I do the same.
Some amazing researchers out there, like you know, like Amazing Polly, right? She's done some great research, but then she sort of like went all negative. So I stopped myself watching it. She used to be one of my favourite people, you know. But I watched everyone. Spiritual, you know, Magenta Pixie. I used to watch a lot of her in the early days. I've just got such a massive, broad interest throughout this whole movement. But as soon as people start blackpilling and dooming and glooming and fucking panic hands and you know,
oh yeah,
yeah, it's like AI with me. You know, I'm creating stuff on AI. After about a week of it, it's like I get so frustrated with it. I just need to not turn the computer on, because I've been trying to do something for you and Elisa, Stu, and it's just been a massive retard.
Yeah,
honestly, I can send you some stills now if you want. They're quite hilarious.
Yeah, because AI is not very good at wording, is it? It wants to turn
it's not very good with real people. So I managed to stalk the pair of you on Facebook and get an actual decent photograph, and then make a Stu and an Elisa, and then I put it. Do you want me to send it to you?
If you like, yeah.
Do you want it on WhatsApp or what do you want?
Wherever.
Give us a sec.
Send it on Telegram.
I would really love for somebody out there to do happy endings to this movement, the possibilities, and get creative, because some of the memes out there are just fantastic.
Well, she is very creative. You've seen our partners 2-minute AI thing, haven't you?
That's not my best work now.
No, I don't know if I've seen it.
Oh, do you know what? I'll just play that because I've also added myself. I found a little website called Elon Talks, so everyone can mess about on that.
My Stargate film's better than that now. Much better.
Well, this is all right. Well, we'll have to maybe redo things down the line, but I think this is amazing. So this is 20 seconds of Trump that I did, and then it's Simone's 2 minutes, because we've just got 5 partners, and I had a lot of input into it. She got quite frustrated with me. Oh, you're a tyrant, right? But I think it's turned out excellent. And our partners as well, I would never, ever advertise anything that didn't help people in this movement, wasn't beneficial to them. So, yeah, this is 20 seconds of Trump that I fucked about doing. And then Simone's AI thing.
Make sure you're watching Stu's News and Patriots Across the Pond for some of your awakening information. Amazing guests every week from Monday to Saturday. Visit patriotsacrossthepond.com and follow Stewie and Elisa today on Rumble for the live shows. And remember, where we go one, we go all.
In a world flooded with noise, clarity has become rare. People are questioning what they're told and searching for something real. Mr. Heal's modern wellness meets old school remedies. CBD tinctures, methylene blue, gummies and edibles, THC-free wellness, and functional remedies crafted with old school care and modern precision. Biozox, a trusted source for ivermectin and fenbendazole. Biozox, believe your health decisions should be yours, not dictated by politicians or big pharma. Crafted with purpose and precision, freedom-forged coffee, cacao and mushroom tinctures, small batch roasted coffee, rich cacao and functional mushrooms crafted with purpose. Verity Metals, redefining what precious metals investing should be. Why choose Verity Metals? We're not just another gold dealer. We're a trusted retirement partner. Our clients choose us because we lead with education, integrity, and transparency. Medical bills are the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, accounting for 66.5% of bankruptcies. We can all agree the healthcare system is broken. There is an alternative: impact health sharing, which Yahoo News is calling the disruptor in the $4.6 trillion healthcare system. For more information, visit patriotsacrossthepond.com.
That was good.
Yeah,
and you said the name of that is AI Talks, where you made that, what you made that from? AI Talks?
No, elontalks.com.
Aeon?
Elon, as in Musk.
Elon, okay.
Stu, can you play my Stargate one? Give me a minute.
Yeah, I don't know where that is, actually. Let me just post this in the chat so everyone can have a mess about with that. Paste.
That actually sounds better because I'm on PC now, but when I hear that ad through my TV in the lounge, it sounds really staticky, so it must be my TV.
Can you send me that again on Telegram, please?
Yeah.
Right. Does that look like me?
The royal family is I work with
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So then I thought, okay, I can work with that, right?
Oh, I love it.
And so I started trying to animate it, and I'm not even gonna show you what it did. Just fucking retard. But do you like the concept at least?
Oh yes, this is fantastic. Oh, that's
I asked it to make it a bit more cinematic, steampunky, but I didn't.
Yeah, I love
dress you up like that. You're lucky it didn't put the dress on you, Stu.
Well, I'm in touch with my feminine side. That would have been all right with me. It would be nice if that Houses of Parliament was all on fire and blowing up.
Oh God! Now you're asking a lot there from fucking AI.
Yeah.
Right. Let me just get this for you.
Yeah. You send that other one. It's this one. What's the one you did from Sasha Stone? Was it?
No, I did this just for my own pleasure.
All right, we'll have a look. Bit of advertisement out there.
Yeah, very well done.
I'm most proud of this one, to be honest. It's going to take a minute to get to you, Stu.
What's the your website or because you're on Instagram?
I'm just Fire Horse Films on TikTok and Instagram at the moment. That's it.
Fire Horse Films.
Fire Horse Films with a Z. Yeah.
On the films. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's coming through. We've done our JFK Jr. chat. I mean, who else do you think is alive?
I'd love for Prince to be alive and Michael Jackson, because Prince, they tried to paint him as a junkie. Prince was a massive health freak. He only ate once a day.
Yeah.
You know, he was, and he had quite a few mentors that knew what was going on in the world, didn't he? I can't remember the guy. There's that old guy. And you know, there's a famous interview of him talking about the chemtrails, and you know, and then but there's also the theory that record companies, because record companies insure their artists, so if the insurance payout is bigger than what the artist could potentially earn them, artists go missing, or you know, get locked off, because they said that about Janis Joplin as well, you know. And it's very convenient that she was a drug user.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Jackson was saying a lot of things before he sort of like was disappeared out of society. He was, you know, calling Tommy Mottola, wasn't he, from Sony Records, the devil. And
same with Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington, you know.
Let me see if I can find you a picture.
I was so upset. I'm a huge Chris Cornell fan. Just amazing voice. And, you know, the man had everything to live for. Had a beautiful family, a great career. Why? Come on. Oh, why is it taking so long?
Oh, yeah, it's because it's uploaded, isn't it, I think?
Just get in there.
Hold on.
But yeah, I mean, I would like to, you know, in an ideal world, I'd like to see them all still here. But I think the ones that genuinely died, like David Bowie, he wasn't that controversial, was he, with his... Well, he didn't speak out much about anything, did he? I don't know.
No, but there's a lot of talk that all the messaging in David Bowie's songs was, you know, very... Right, here. I'll just show you. Sorry, I've got to move this about. I'll just show you an image here. That's Neverland, Michael Jackson's place. What does that look like?
Cute.
A queue.
It does look like a queue, doesn't it?
Wow, just now, I've seen that before, but I just now seeing it, it's like, oh my goodness, that's a queue.
You know, JFK's gravesite, Princess Diana's gravesite, they're all queues. Yeah, you've seen those, haven't you?
A long time. You know what I find interesting when you're talking about Patton? You mentioned Patton earlier. If you look at Trump and you look at Fred Trump, his dad, and then you look at Patton, Trump looks so much more like Patton than he did his own father.
Yeah, that is
publicly known father, I should say.
That's JFK's. That is a queue. Let me just find Diana's.
I thought JFK was buried at sea. No?
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure about that. But
so that's a memorial, probably.
Yeah.
It's always quite suspicious when they cremate someone and bury them at sea, isn't it? And scatter them at sea. It's like, no evidence. Get rid of all the evidence.
What, like Osama bin Laden, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I've never heard that JFK was buried at sea, but it could be one detail I just don't remember.
Yeah, can't find this at the moment.
I will say, Elisa, I have been watching because I never watched Trump when he did the Apprentice, because I was working in corporate America and always so busy. I just didn't have time to watch something like that. That was more about like what my life was like working. So I would tend to watch different series that would take my mind away from, work. But that being said, I've been watching them simply because Mel Carmine had mentioned on his podcast that in one of the episodes, Trump gives away a Zimbabwe Zim and says, hold on to it. It's going to be worth a lot of money someday. And so I'm on season 6 now, but I think it goes to 7 seasons. And I haven't seen it yet, but I'll let you know when I find it. But it's really interesting because in watching it now, I can see a lot of the comms that I would have never seen if I had watched it at that time.
Yeah, exactly. This is Diana's. Let's just take that chat off a minute.
Oh, yeah. That's no coincidence.
There's no such thing as coincidence, Misty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, that all goes into, synchronicities, doesn't it? If you read that piece by Carl Gustav Jung about synchronicity, It's amazing.
It makes me think of the Celestine prophecy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a shame about that, because that's a good book and a good, a great subject, but they butchered it in the film.
Yeah, the film wasn't good.
It obviously did.
Yeah, it was a lousy film. I was so disappointed because the book was so good.
Yeah, and that's annoying for me, really, because I don't like reading. I always prefer to watch the film. So, and I have seen it. Yeah, I've got the book as well.
Book to read these days. I get to the bottom of a page and it's like, what have I just read? I don't remember.
Exactly the same. I'm thinking about Homer Simpson chasing a squirrel. What's going on with the Q operation?
I think that's probably quite common amongst sort of our crowd, because our brains are going 100 miles an hour all over the place, especially yours, Stu. It's really
well now when I'm out and about and I come across 17, it makes me pause, because I say to myself, is there something to connect here? It's like now it's like a knowing. You look like you pause for a moment and think, how is this relative?
Well, my oven alarm cooking my pizza last night. My pizza was ready at 17:17. So it's just there in your brain all the time. You're just like, all right, cooked to perfection then.
I see. I actually believe this is how, God's source, the universe, talks to us. Some people say, they pray, and some people hear the voice of God. Some people get signs. I believe I get direction through numbers. Because it's not just about seeing the numbers. It's that at what particular time, what were you thinking about when you seen a number? Why did I go to my phone and look at it? It was 98% battery. Do you know what I mean? Why is the clock on 1717? When I go
get a lot of 11s as well, Jerry.
I was telling Lisa the other day, my bedside clock, it was my mum's, right? It's one of the only things I've got of hers. And when I bang my hand down, the clock comes on and it shows the time. Then after a few seconds, it shows the temperature. I'm going to bed, I bang it down like that, and it's 23:23, right? Which is obviously 23 is significant, but that's 255 as well. And then it's like I said, well, that's 10 then. 5 and 5 is 10. I wonder if the temperature's 16 degrees. Flicked on 16 degrees. That's your 17 total. And it's just, I just laugh. I chuckle now. And they're constant. And I can't explain it, but I think we will find out somewhere down the line what all this means. And maybe that is maybe we've always seen these numbers, but never, ever, always just ignored them.
Yeah, never paid attention that they meant anything.
So maybe it is something to do with our consciousness rising, and that we're seeing.
It's like your intuition, isn't it? It's we've always been told that you need to trust your brain, not your gut. And your gut is your intuition, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. When you start waking up and you notice these things, it's like, I think I've got really good intuition, but then sometimes I think, no.
These miles off.
Like when Trump put his administration together, I mean, there's probably a whole explanation for this, but I loved Howard Lutnick. I loved him. I thought he was fun. He was always happy, and he seemed really excited that this was all happening, and and then all the shit that's just come out, and it's like, oh God, am I a really bad judge of character?
No.
No.
What makes a good movie is great actors, and we are. Look, some of these people are so entrenched. I mean, just imagine. Let's talk about Tom Hanks, someone like that. We all used to absolutely love Tom Hanks. Yeah. Now we all think he's a fucking savage paedophile, but is he or isn't he?
Harry Soul Coach doesn't.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But Harry Soul Coach is, he's a very Charlie freakish. They're all goodly Masons and these sorts of things. But it's really interesting what Charlie Freak was saying. I watched one of his last week, and it's if you want to get a 60,000 secret army. Going on what you were saying earlier, how do you keep a secret? If you want to build a 60,000 secret army, do this plan. What better usage of people, you know, Knights Templar, Masons and stuff like that, to carry this plan out and keep that secret as they're doing it? You know, I can't talk about, you know, it's like you can't say all Masons are bad, because I used to take a lot of Masons to Masonic lodges when I was a taxi driver, right? Decent people. I didn't know what they got up to in there. I posed a few questions. Obviously, you know, what do you do? Fishing for information. But it's like, you know, one of my best mates is a Templar in London. I worked with him for years, right? And, you know, they're not all bad. Like Robert David Steele said, a lot of these people are good people trapped in bad organisations. And obviously, once you go up the rungs of the ladder, talking about the Masons that at various degrees, it's like you get more secrets as you go up. You get more information. All these low-level people haven't got a fucking clue what's going on at the top.
No, it's just boys wanting to be in a gang, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of it is. You know, rolled up trouser legs and funny handshakes and stuff.
I used to work in a Masonic lodge as a bar maid, we used to call them back then. And that was an eye-opener.
We've got some inside information coming in, Simone. I'll tell you what,
they'd have dinner, right? So they'd have to set up, we'd have to set up the dining room. And then once they were all in there, the door was locked. We're not allowed to go in there, but we could hear them. And they would be, I never saw any children or anything like that. There was nothing like that going on. But they would, I guess they had rituals where they would all stamp their feet after somebody would get up and speak. And then everybody in the room would stamp their feet and the whole building would shake. It was very strange that they locked the door and we weren't allowed in there until they'd finished their speeches and stopped stamping their feet. It was, very strange.
Yeah.
And then we'd go in and serve.
Yeah. All right, well, I've just got your video up here now. Let's play that then.
Trying to find a picture of Anunnaki that's, you know, that AI could understand.
Can you do a video like that with me and Elisa coming out of a Stargate? Yeah.
It'd probably be easier than trying to do real normal life.
Yeah, try that. I think that would be so cool.
I think AI loves sci-fi, and so do I. So
yeah.
As long as we all come out with loads of red, white, and blue on, and various, you know, flags and things, and yeah, because you did, didn't you? You said to me you tried to do something, you know, with loads of where we go one, we go all, and trust the plan and stuff. And what was AI doing for you then?
I just asked it to write me some lyrics to a song, and I said it must include where we go one, we go all, the abbreviation. What was the other thing? There was a few Q things that I asked it to include. And I thought probably not a good idea to mention Israel or anything like that. So, you know, it was just generic ones really. And it said, sorry, we don't we can't do extremist groups.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
We can't create prompts for extremist groups. And I'd said afterwards, I said, Q's not an extremist group, and it just repeated what it said. But that was ChatGTP, and then I went into Perplexity, and they didn't give a fuck. So ChatGTP, I think we all know that it's controlled by Google, isn't it? So interesting. I was really surprised.
Yeah, I see. I don't really use much AI. I use Grok sometimes if I'm searching for things and asking questions, and then a bit of Elon Talks if I want Trump saying stuff. But there's on that Elon Talks, there's about 15 different people. I think there's RFKG now, so you can just type in a box what you wanted to say, and it gives you a few little options of where they are.
Oh, cool. I'll have to try that because I use Grok occasionally, but it's on my list to learn how to use ChatGPT, and I would like to try that ElonTalks.com. That looks fun.
Yeah, let me just try and find someone else.
All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye because I've got people coming over later, so got to clean the house. All right, nice to talk to you.
Hey, just watch this one. Just watch this. Just watch this before you go, because I don't really share this one, but I was just messing about.
If you're not watching Stu's News and Patriots Across the Pond for your information, or some of it, you are a loser. One of the greatest losers in the world, and retarded. And don't think you are not. Yes, you are, and you know it. Everyone thinks so, except you. Visit PatriotsAcrossThePond.com and follow Stewie and Elisa today on Rumble for the live shows, and nothing can stop what is coming.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, just about, look, we've got one of the main things we've had to do, apart from get out into nature doing all this, is laugh, isn't it? Which is why this mimetic meme war we've had has been so amazing to keep us all going. Plus the nods from Trump and all these things. Amazing. Yeah, brilliant. All right, Simone. Well, happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, happy Mother's Day.
Nice to see you. Speak to you soon.
Yeah, and don't fight anyone when you're out having your meal, yeah?
I'll try not to.
Yeah, I know. All right, you take care.
See you later.
See ya.
Bye. Bye. Oh, well, there you go. I mean, that was a great little show today, wasn't it?
Oh, it was. And I wanted to add before I forget, because I wrote some of the things down, is I was really glad the other day you were showing Renee the Dylan Monroe maps. For me, when I came across Dylan, I think he had been, I was watching Nick Veniami, and it was on the first time I'd ever heard about Jassara Nassara. And I watched that video, and it was on his map, and I immediately ordered that map and then a few other things. He is so talented to be able to take all that information and map it out so beautifully.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, we can talk about this for a little bit. I'll just take my background off because I've got.
Oh, yeah. I have
there.
a small version of that.
And I've got the healing web there.
Yeah,
well,
I have that, a smaller version.
Which is amazing. And, well, funnily enough, if I go in my pictures album and find... It's... what is it? Intel now. I've got loads of stuff saved of all his maps and stuff. So yeah, they're amazing. But his Dylan's website, it's not the Deep State Mapping Project anymore. It's dsmp.io.
Oh, he changed it. Yeah, because I haven't been on it in a while.
Yeah, because if you go into the Deep State Mapping Project, you can't see all his latest maps. But there's some. I mean, the amount of work he's put into all these things. And all these maps, they are amazing. But you can buy them in posters, cards, T-shirts, tapestries. You know, we'd love to have him on our show one day. I mean, Jason knows him quite well. So, you know, that would be amazing if he did come on.
Oh, I would love to see him come on your show. You've been having great guests, and I'm really pleased that, you know, some of the ones that you've named that you hope to get on in the future, because that's what keeps this thing going. You know, the podcasters, bringing people together, different perspectives. So how long are you staying?
I mean, we have been talking. When I come to New York.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Oh, there's a bit of a delay on that. Is there? Yeah. I'm probably coming for about 10 days. Yeah.
Well, I wish I could be there. You're going to enjoy it, and I think it's wonderful that you are doing this. You all are going to have a great time, and the episodes you've been doing with Renee, I'm halfway through the 5th one. I mean, they're just fantastic, because it's so great to see someone that had a totally different belief system wake up and be so interested in hearing all the possibilities.
Yeah.
And then also is willing to, you know, say, hey, I used to think this way, and I used to think differently, and I used to think that was a conspiracy, and to say, boy, you know, was I not awake? Because when you see someone realize that, it brings validation, because when somebody, you know, says, oh no, that's a, you know, and a conspiracy theory, and they just shut it down and they're not open, that is, we get so much of that.
It's been an amazing journey. I've watched Red Pilling Mickey on Rambo, you know, over the last 4 months, watching him wake up. Now he's got his own show called Above the Rabbit Hole with Matt.
Yeah.
They go through all this stuff. And, you know, Elisa and I talked about trying to get them on the show. But then Elisa had the phone call, the universe. Renee woke up, and we've got our own one. You know, and it's amazing. He's thanked us so much. The first phone call or StreamYard we did wasn't live, and he was a shadow of a man. You know, he was shaking and he didn't know what was going on. He, you know, read the Epstein files. He said he was getting in the shower and just praying for people he didn't know. It was amazing. But we have sort of guided him and steered him through this over the last, you know, 5 shows, about 6 weeks, and it's amazing. And I just really look forward to chatting with him. You know, and it's okay getting massive guests on as well, but if they haven't got anything to say, you know, we want big guests, small guests, people that haven't got a following. It's all different points of view, because none of us are better than anyone else, and we're all fighting on God's army. And you know, a lot of people, I mean, it was like when we were talking to Renee about, this was last week, I think, Tom Hanks and that football and Castaway and stuff, and how these, you know, Jay-Z were all wearing that T-shirt on hoodie with that red face on it. And we sort of told him what it was about. He said he didn't understand it. We said, well, potentially, if this is anything to do with Frazzle Trip, they are mocking the fact and celebrating the fact that that young lady had her fucking face cut off. And
it's a badge of honor.
Yeah. And when he found out that, he was like this. And then he actually said in yesterday's show that he didn't actually realise what that meant until the day before, on Thursday, just gone. And he talks about this. If you haven't seen that yet, that's in the rest of the show. And then we were showing him various things, and then we showed him how the 7 astronauts are still alive from the, was it the Columbia or Challenger shuttle disaster?
The Challenger.
Was Columbia? Oh, I can't remember. It might have been Challenger. We showed him they were still alive, and you watch his face then. You know, it's amazing. But yeah, I love doing all our shows. You know, some are a little bit more interested than others, but I just love getting Renee on and guiding him through this journey, because it gives Elisa and I a chance to go back over all the older stuff. Oh, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that? Renee's going, what? Oh, what are you doing to me?
Yeah, because essentially your own podcast has their own journey.
Yeah.
And you grow along the way. That's why I love this so much, because I've always been a researcher and, want to know what's going on. And if I have interest in the subject, just really diving deep into it. And the information that has come out from all these great people dedicated to it, it just blows my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't look at it that, you just can walk away and not know it. That's why for the people that just don't want to listen, I really hope they have a rude awakening, because I think they really need it, because our humanity can't keep going on if you have people that are such disbelievers.
Yeah, no, exactly that. So, I'll just tell you what we've got coming up this week. We've got Jeremy from Mr. Hills on Monday, which is that video I did with our affiliates. He does the Freedom Forge coffee, Mr. Hills, all the gummies and stuff, and the ivermectin fembendazole. We've got Chris O'Connor on Tuesday, Matt Geiger Wednesday. I don't know if we're going to do our regular show on Thursday, because we've got Ricardo Bosi on Thursday, and because he's in Australia, I've got to do that about 9 o'clock at night, I think. But that is going to be amazing. So we might just do that show on Thursday. Jason on Friday. And that's it so far for this week. We're just trying to do one show a day, really. We can't. And then Webpill and Rennie will be fitted in there Saturday, which one day, which may actually be Saturday next week. But yeah, there you go. That was a great show. That time's flown again, hasn't it? Thank you so much for coming on and being my co-host today while Elisa's out the way. Brilliant of you. Otherwise, if no one comes on these things, I'm sitting here on my own. So yeah, especially if Elisa's away. So, I've got a lot of respect for you coming on, and part of the fam.
Well, you have a lovely weekend, and thank you so much, Stu.
Yeah, no, thank you as well. And seeing as I've already played that affiliate video, I've put that Dark to Light video on the end. So this is 8 minutes. This is one of the best videos you will watch with everything that's been going on and what we're going into in this beautiful new world, Dark to Light. So thank you, Misty. Where we go, when we go. You. Yeah. All right. Take care. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for joining us, and have a lovely rest of your weekend. Where we go, when we go all. Oh, got to finish it.
We're moving from dark to light. This is the Great Awakening. People of the world have woken up, and the light has shined on the darkness, and the darkness cannot hide from it. All the darkness can do is panic. All of the systems the darkness had in place to control us are going to crumble. The fear, the corruption, the greed, the wars and rumors of wars, the hate, the technology, media propaganda, the child trafficking, and the slave economy. All of these control systems will crumble down. The darkness will collapse in only a few countries at first, but other countries will soon follow. We will unite against the dark, How will it be walking into the light after thousands of years of darkness? It's game over for the darkness. Are you ready for the light? Welcome to the new Earth. go one, we go all.